Here we're going to look at two examples of finding polynomial quotients with remainder. So we're not going to discuss the theory or anything behind this. We're just going to practice like the mechanics of solving these types of problems. So for this first one, we want to look at x cubed plus 3x squared plus x minus 4, and we want to divide that by x minus 5, find the quotient and the remainder. So there are a couple of ways to do this. The way that we're going to do is essentially called polynomial long division. So let's take this x minus 5, and we're going to divide that into this guy right here, which is x cubed plus 3x squared plus x minus 4. And we want to mimic the strategy that we use for long division of numbers. So here we're going to think about what can we multiply to x, the leading term here, to make x cubed. And so it's x squared, because x squared times x is x cubed. So that's going to give us an x cubed here, but then we also have to multiply x squared to this negative 5. That'll give us a minus 5x squared here. Now what we want to do is subtract this entire polynomial from our starting polynomial, but that means that we're really grouping this. So we're grouping these together and then subtracting. But then as we distribute the minus sign through, that's going to make this a negative and this a positive. So I've changed the sign on all of them. So now I've got x cubed minus x cubed, that cancels. And then we've got 3x squared plus 5x squared, that gives us 8x squared. Then we're going to go ahead and bring this down, and then we'll have something to start the next step. So we repeat the process with 8x squared plus x minus 4. Okay, so what do we need to multiply by x to get this 8x squared? So it'll be plus 8x. Now distribute this 8x through to both of these terms. That'll give us 8x squared minus 40x. Good, because 8 times 5 is 40. Now we're going to group and then subtract. But then we can distribute this minus sign through. That's going to change both of those. So we've got 8x squared minus 8x squared. So that's gone. Then we've got x plus 40x. That's going to be 41x. And then we bring this minus 4 down. Now repeat the process one more time. What do we need to multiply by x to get to 41? So that's going to be plus 41. And then we distribute that through, so that's going to give us 41x. And then 41 times minus 5, so that's going to be like minus 205. So minus 205. Now we're going to group and subtract. So distributing the minus sign through, that goes like that. So 41 minus 41, those are going to cancel. Then we've got minus 4 plus 205, so that's going to give us 201. And now the degree here is 0. That's just a constant. The degree here is 1. So now that our degree here is smaller than our degree here, we know that we're done. We cannot divide further. So this is our remainder. So here we would have a quotient of x squared plus 8x plus 41 and a remainder of 201. Okay, so now let's look at another example. So now we're going to take x cubed plus 4, I should say y cubed plus 4, and we're going to divide 2y squared plus 1. We're going to use the same strategy that we did over here. So let's take our 2y squared plus 1, and now we're going to be dividing that into y cubed plus 4. And I'm putting a little bit of a gap there because notice I don't have a y squared term or a y term. Sometimes people go ahead and write in a plus 0y squared plus 0y here, just to keep in mind that there are none of those, but you know, that's kind of optional. Now we want to look for what can we multiply to 2y squared to make y cubed. So we know that it has to be some multiple of y because we're turning y squared into y cubed. But now we want to make this coefficient 2 equal to a coefficient of 1, and the way to do that is multiply by a half. So it turns out that we need 1/2 y here. So now let's see what that gives us. So we'll have 1/2 y times 2y squared. That gives us y cubed. And then we'll have a half y times 1, but that's just going to be a half y, and that goes over here. So I put it underneath the y portion. Okay, good. Now we're going to go ahead and group and subtract. So we can distribute this minus sign through. That means we're going to subtract both of those parts. The y cubed minus the y cubed is 0, which was our first goal. And then 0y minus half y, so that's going to be minus half y. So we've got negative half y, bring the 4 down, so plus 4. Good. Now we want to go ahead and look at this and see, oh look, our degree here is 1, but the degree up here is 2. Since 1 is smaller than 2, that means we're done. This is our remainder. There's no way that we can keep dividing because the degree up here is larger than the degree of what we have at this stage. So that means we've got a remainder of minus half y plus 4. So here our quotient is a half y, and our remainder is minus half y plus 4. Good. So that's it for these examples, and that's a good place to stop.